us a little about one of the most contentious issues in the cloud, which is data privacy, and his journey to trying to fix that. Cloud computing has tremendous potential for all sorts of industries. One of the things that it is most interesting to see evolving is our tolerance for information in the cloud, and the trade-off between the advantage of digital information, things like patient records, and the litigiousness of things like the medical system and the legal and the laws around HIPAA and so on. Bill's been fighting this fight for Beth, Israel, Deconess since 2006. One of the things we really love is getting end users up here to share their journey to the cloud and tell us a little about the challenges they've faced from the horse's mouth. So it's not just vendors talking about their products, but also end users talking about how those products do or don't work. Bill has traveled all the way here from Boston to tell us about his journey to protecting patient health information in the cloud with Beth, Israel, Deconess. Bill. Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone, and just want to thank everyone for being here today. And I'm excited to be here. This is sort of like the rock stars of virtualization and cloud computing here. And you know, if they're the rock stars, folks that are taking part in this conference, I'm certainly the backup band that they called in when the regular backup band's bus broke down in Des Moines. I hope you find some value from our humble little case study of utilizing cloud computing for our physician practices. So basically what I want to talk to you today is about how we deployed an electronic health record to our physician practices located throughout Metro, Boston, Eastern Massachusetts. I'm a member of Beth Israel Deconess Medical Center. It's a large medical center in the Boston area. It's part of Harvard University Medical Center. And we also have a physicians organization made up of about 15 to 2,000 physicians. And we had a challenge of how we would deploy an electronic medical record to all of the physician practices. So we had about 300 locations located throughout Massachusetts that we needed, all geographically dispersed, that we had to figure out a way to get this, which is normally a client-server-based application, out to all these physician practices and have them utilize the technology. The problem was we didn't want to go forward with that, you know, the standard having servers sitting in a closet somewhere out in, you know, some community physician practice that wouldn't be maintained or secured properly. So we knew somehow we needed to centralize that and manage all of that technology. The problem was how were we going to do it? What's the best way to do this? And some of the challenges we have are, you know, we had about 1,500 physicians that we needed to deploy this to, 300 geographic locations, as I said, throughout Eastern Massachusetts. And the challenge really was, how do we get this technology out to them without making, you know, in a way that would be secure, robust, and all of those things? Because if they're using an electronic medical record, they're no longer going to be using paper charts. And without paper charts, if they lost their, you know, access to the medical record, they could have a problem seeing patients for that day. So it was kind of a critical problem. The other problem that we had was we weren't sure, you know, of the 1,500 physicians who were eligible to take part. And this was a joint venture funded by the medical center and the physicians organization. We weren't sure how many would actually take part in the program. So if we were to go forward and say, all right, well, we had, you know, 300 practices, about 1,500 physicians, build it in your classic clustered model, you would build that sort of to suit the needs of the largest amount you would probably have. The problem, as I said, is we weren't sure how many people would actually take part. So the analogy I like to use is we could build this grand hotel, but maybe nobody checks in, you know, and we have all this infrastructure we spend millions of dollars on supporting just a handful of physician practices. So what's the best option that, you know, we could go for? So what we decided would made the most sense is really some sort of like housing development type build out where, you know, we build little worlds and we're only limited by the real estate of the data center and the technology. So the solution was to build a cloud. Now the interesting thing is we didn't really go forward and say, let's build a cloud. This is 2006, 2007 when we went down this path. And we really just wanted to leverage tools to solve a problem. It wasn't until after we built it, people came to us and said, hey, you built a private cloud. We just looked at virtualization and said, geez, you know, we've done it to consolidate part of our data centers, consolidate applications. How can we do this to serve this application up? So that's how we ended up down the cloud path. Like I said, we use VMware. They were a big partner with us, helped us build this. And it was interesting because not soon after, about maybe a year into the project, the vendor of the electronic health record had a major specification change in the version that they had provided us. Had we been in that clustered model, to meet the change would have cost us about $250,000 to $300,000. But because we had gone this virtual cloud route, it only really cost us the dollars for licensing and a little bit of SAN space, so about $30,000. So it was a huge savings. And at the time, trying to convince our board of directors that we wanted to go with this new technology, this was the thing that actually sold them on it, that we actually made the right decisions. For us, the whole idea of having this scalable product that we could deploy to the physician practices was really what we needed. The interesting thing is, as I said, we didn't know who would actually take part in the project. And we built it really as a way we could grow it as needed, having that flexibility and modularity. What's happened is that since 2006, there's government stimulus to physician practices who take part in an electronic medical record project. Because of that stimulus, now a lot of the physicians that weren't really that game on taking part at the beginning have all started to come to us and wanted to be part of the project. So we've gone from, gee, do we build this so that, you know, because we don't know how many people are going to actually take part, or do we build it to scale? And now we're actually going over the actual growth, the original growth. We initially scoped about 300 practices. Now we're looking at about 500 by the end of 2012. So this is where this whole idea of having the cloud and this elasticity and all of those sorts of things have really helped us and made this successful from a technology and cost standpoint. The big thing for us is security. You know, we're hosting people's medical information. We're regulated by the federal government and state government on security and access to that information. So security from the beginning was a sort of a foundational component for us. We knew if we're going to do this and we're going to host this application and we're going to provide connectivity to that application over the internet without VPNs and things like that, you know, we knew security was going to be a very important thing. Our website is attacked about every 10 seconds, 24 hours a day. So security was sort of a key component for us. And foundational for where we are today. Consequences of a data breach for us are manyfold. There's regulatory fines. I think the biggest thing, though, is sort of the loss of the trust from the patients and the brand. Beth Israel Deconess Medical Center is a well-known hospital in the New England area, so that brand damage could be pretty significant and have a significant dollar impact. So for us, part of the whole security piece was testing. As I said, we didn't really go into this idea of a cloud. It was sort of came to us after the fact. People told us. And the idea of how to secure this cloud was new to us. Even the whole concept of clouds was new to us. So we brought in some outside expertise to really help us not only test the application we were hosting, but also our infrastructure, the endpoint security. Again, all of these physician practices having access to this medical record. And I think that was a key piece for us, was bringing in the outside expertise to show us vulnerabilities and help us manage those vulnerabilities. We utilize Trend Micro's deep security application as part of our defense in depth strategy for securing our cloud. And one of the key great pieces of the deep security tool is this idea of virtual patching, whereby, in our case, all we really do is host this medical record, this electronic medical record. That application, as many applications, have their own security flaws. So how do we bring out an application that has known security flaws, host it, and still be, in a way that we feel confident that we're not going to have any data breaches. The idea of virtual patching gives us that ability to not only patch the operating system, the operating system, 0-day virus outbreak patches, but also helps us patch the application itself by doing some threat assessments against the application. We've been able to use the virtual patching to actually apply fixes to the security around that application and give us the ability to deploy the application. That was a lifesaver for us. We actually would not have been able to go live with the application had we not had this whole idea of virtual patching. And one thing I just want to touch on, because it seems to be a theme here from hearing the other speakers, is that in our case, right now we're hosting all this infrastructure, all this IT. I have to have all these specialists in our team. Our goal in the next 3 to 5 years is really all I want to do is host the application. I just want to serve an application to providers. I don't want to be an expert in networking. I don't want to be an expert in storage. So we really are looking towards going to these public-private clouds. And eventually we also want to move towards virtualized desktops, because right now we have to control that endpoint, the physician practices, not only their hardware, but their network, so we know that the application is safe. And I think that the long-term goal for us is really seeing that full virtualization, so we're just basically providing a URL to our physicians. Thank you.